Hi, I'm Tanya Visser, and today we're going to show you how to make one of these. You write a beautiful water feature simply using a second-hand pot that you've got lying around in your garden. All the other bits are available from your local builders. This is what you're going to need to turn your once sad pot into an awesome water feature. Obviously, you're going to need your desired pot, and this preferably should have a nice wide lip or mouth, as we call it, so that you can really have a beautiful fountain in it. Now let's get to the fountain. You're going to need one fountain kit, a submersible water feature pump, which you can also get at your local builders, roof paint, and you're going to need a bit of river sand. Now let's talk about the waterproofing of the pot. For that, you're going to need some Seeker H2O Tite, which comes in 1 litre or in 5 litre containers. And that really is going to form the major aspect of it, which is the waterproofing. When you buy it, it comes with a membrane that you can get in different sizes. The tools that you're going to need is a wire brush, a screwdriver to open the lids of your paint, 2 paintbrushes, and a container to pour your paint into. The first step that you want to do is make sure that we're going to conceal the hole that might be at the base of your pot. Now, for us, we have simply taken a piece of polystyrene and popped that into the hole just to make sure that it's a bit easier when we're going to be applying the waterproofing membrane. You don't have to do this, but it does make life a little bit simpler and also give you a little bit more peace of mind. So, we've got some membrane. And this is the membrane that comes with your H2O Seeker Tite. And we need to open up our waterproofing container. When buying your waterproofing materials, do make sure that you choose your color properly. We've gone with a charcoal, which really does work beautifully in any kind of water feature because it just makes the pot seem deeper and gives it that depth and that beautiful allure that we're looking for. Once you've cleaned your pot out, the interior of your pot well, using your wire brush, and make sure that you've got rid of all the dust particles, you then can apply your first layer of your waterproofing paint. And that I suggest you do this in smaller sections. Don't go and paint the entire thing because you want it still to be tacky and wet when you're applying your membrane. So, first layer is on. Fantastic. The good news is that your membrane comes in manageable strips and it's not very wide, and that is important when you're thinking about how to work it. So I've got a strip here. All we're going to do is just simply take it and put it down onto our tacky surface of the paint that we've put down. There we go. Pop it on. Once it's firmly in place, you then take another layer of your membrane paint and give it a good coating. Repeat this process right around the pot by cutting strips of your membrane and laying it on the inside and doing a really double good covering over wherever the drainage hole used to be in the pot. Once you've put your coat on over the piece of membrane, get a pair of scissors and you can simply cut it away nice and flush across the edge of your pot. Remember, wherever there are edges, to make sure that you've given it a very good coat to make sure that it adheres to the surface of the pot. Repeat this process by placing another layer on the next section that you're going to be working on. Take your piece of membrane, and this is where you want to make sure that you have a slight overlap. And the overlap needn't be in excess of 2 centimeters. That would be absolutely perfect. So just make sure there's our first piece, popping our second piece of membrane onto it, and firm it down in exactly the way that we did the first one. Place it on, and then give it its second coat. Whilst you're busy painting and putting the membrane down, if you come across any bubbles, all you need to do is take the paintbrush and simply pull it up towards, and the air bubble will just remove itself. Now all you're going to do is repeat this process all the way around the inside of the pot until you've covered every inside surface with the membrane. Allow it to dry for a good few hours and then give it a second coat. And that's important. Your second coat is your final sealer. Now we need to get to the outside of the pot, and most of our pots that we found, certainly in our back garden, are going to need a bit of a wire brush scrub. So take the wire brush, rub it along it, it takes off all the excess dirt and grit, and if there are areas like this where it's actually started chipping, you can then just get a nice smooth surface. Do that all the way around the pot, and to finally get rid of all these bits, use a dry brush and just make sure it's nice and clean all the way around. Once we've cleaned it all up, we now get to the painting part. And this is where you're going to be using roof paint. Roof paint is far the most durable that you can use on pots. It doesn't create those awful streaks when it does rain across the pot surface, and you can get it in a variety of colors. And in order to create a beautiful texture on it, just simply empty some of the roof paint into a container and then add a bit of river sand or very fine pebble, and a very fine pebble. I've got a bit of river sand here, pour it in, and in terms of quantities, you can add in as much as you want to create the texture. And this is going to have a really gorgeous, thick look about it. Take a look at that. Here is the texture, so it almost becomes like a slurry that you're going to be using along the outside. Once it's mixed in well, you can then start with your painting. And take a look as we put the first brush on. There you can see the texture of the pebble coming through in our roofing paint. And with this, depending on how abused your pot was in the previous lifetime, it might just need 1 or 2 coats. I'm happy with that. All I need to do now is leave it to dry, and then we can start by putting it in and assembling it into the garden space. Now that our pot is dry, we've put it into the perfect spot into the garden. Remember always to ensure that it's nice and level and that the bottom surface is secured, and even if you need to, just stamp it down a little. I've got my water feature pump here, which has got a excellent outdoor cable, which is preferable for any outdoor treatment of a water feature. What you're going to do is take your fitting, attach it to the pump, and it simply just screws in nice and firm. On top of that, you can attach this gadget, which is a flow control, and this means that you can control the water by either opening this valve over here to allow more water to go out this side, or the amount of water that's going to be pushing up into your spout. Once you've attached your flow control gadget, then all you need to do is take your spout. I've chosen this spout, and it simply can move up and down like that to create the desired height within your feature. Pop it on. Place it in the center of the pot. And then comes the fun part, to add the water. Once it's in place, all you've got to do is just turn it on. And there you go. At this point, you can now control and adjust the regulator, which is here. Remember, that's that little attachment over there. And as I take it out the water, so it's not going to work, remember, pop it back in, and there you can adjust your height of whatever you'd like your fountain to be. Couple of tips when you are putting your water feature together: ensure that your fountain spray does not go over the edge, or take a look on the surfaces to make sure how much extra little drips you have, because that will deplete your water surface and the pump might end up drying out. The other thing, which really does finish it off really nicely, is to get some water plants. I've got some Louisiana irises here, and you can get these at your local builders and just pop them in, and that helps to just hide the cords of your pump really just softens the whole look, and especially if you're going to have it against a surface, really does just add that extra element of tranquility into your bowl. So there you have it, 1, 2, 3, old pot into a gorgeous new water feature. And remember, all of these products are available from your local builders.